Hey guys, this video is going to show you a little bit about different methods to divide. I'll show you the cheater method as well as the traditional method. The first most common error students make when they do long division is not knowing what number goes in what place. Both of these problems require you to do some long division. You know you have to do long division because there's lots of numbers over here compared to this. And I just kind of like to do long division kind of because it's fun and also because it gives me a correct answer. Alright, when we look at long division, this first number is always the number that you put into this part. So the first number is our inside number, so our 2,418 goes on the inside. This number goes on the outside, our 6. When we're looking at a multiplication chart, so if I drew a quick one here. So if we look at this example that I drew over here of a multiplication chart, this is our top and our bottom numbers that are already printed in there, and these are the numbers that you wrote in. I only went to 4 just because I wanted to save some space so I can do my other problems. If I put a kind of a cheater in here, this right here is kind of going to be our multiply. I also think of it as our divide. So this row down here, if you want to mark on your multiplication chart, this would be your number you're dividing by. So this is your, I sometimes call it your row number or your outside number. So we would look for row 6, and numbers we would be looking in would be our this inside. The inside numbers are the numbers we're looking inside the division chart. So in this section of your divisibility chart, of your multiplication chart, excuse me, this inside of your multiplication chart is in relationship to these numbers here. This top part of your multiplication chart, I consider that your answer row. So you look for your answer row or your top set of numbers for anything that goes on your answer line, which is above. So let's take a look at this problem again. Let me get my eraser. So let's go ahead and do this problem right here. Okay, again, we're looking in our row numbers. So you're going to look in your number you're dividing by. You're going to look in 6. Let's see, does 6 go into 2? No, it doesn't because 2 is smaller than 6. So we have to go into 24. Look in your 6th row, your number you're dividing by row. How many times does 6 go into 24? Since we didn't go into 2, we're not going to use the space above the 2. Sometimes I'll put an X in there just to hold a place, but you don't necessarily have to put an X there. You can just kind of leave it blank. So we know that 6 goes into 24 4 times. So 4 is a number from our answer row. So 6 times 24 is 24. Our next step is we subtract. 24 minus 24 is 0 in both places. And then I like to always draw an arrow down to drop our next number. The arrow helps me remember how far I'm going, and it also gives me a quick check to say, yes, I've done all my numbers. So I'm dropping the 1. We then need to look in our same row that we were in, and we're going to look in the inside for our next number. Our next number we're looking for is number 1. There isn't a number 1 in there, so we shouldn't leave this blank. It should be, 6 goes into there 0 times. Here, ignore this little dot here. There shouldn't be a dot there. So it goes in there 0 times. So when something goes in there 0 times, we can always subtract 0 from it, or we can just drop our next number. Now we're taking 6 into 18. Again, finding 6 in our number, we're looking for 18 in the middle, and then we're looking for our number on the top that is closest to without going over. 6 goes into 18 3 times, so We subtract it out. We're left with nothing, so we don't have to have a fraction. So our answer, if we had this problem, 24/18 divided by 6 equals 403. Remember, this right here is your answer on here. This is where the answer goes. Let's go through and do another problem together. I want you to pause a little bit between each. This is the standard method to divide. So I'm going to use the division problem. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9 divided by 7. All right, I want you to set up your problem. Go ahead and pause the video. All right, now remember, this number goes in the bottom. If you didn't put it in the bottom, then you did it wrong. So this first number is going to be our bottom number. So under our long division side, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. This number goes on the outside. So 7. All right, grab your multiplication chart out if you don't have it already. Remember, in our multiplication chart, we have our numbers on the top. We have our numbers on the side. This number here is coming from this row here. We're looking for numbers inside here, closest to without going over. So we're looking in the 7s row for our answers. We know 7 cannot go into 1 because 1 is smaller than 7, so we have to go 7 into 12. As you will see, there is no number 12 in the 7 row. 12 is not equally divisible by 7. But our closest to without going over would be 7. So our bottom number we're going to write in is 7. Looking at our inside number, we said was 7, so we have to look at our answer row, which would be 1. So we'll put a 1 at the top. And we're putting it above the 12 and not above the 1 because we went into the 12. We're subtracting that 7 out. So 7 minus 12 is 5. Our next step is to drop. We're going to do our arrow, drop our 3. Again, we're looking in this row. For our 7, we're staying in our 7s row. We're looking for our number on the inside of our multiplication chart that is closest to 53 without going over. So our closest number would be 49. So we're writing 49 here. We're subtracting. Again, we're taking the top number up here, writing it in our answer line, because 7 makes 49 by using a 7. So 7 times 7 is 49. We subtract that out. We're going to have to borrow one here. That would be 4. That's going to be a 0. Again, next step, we drop that 7. Again, we're staying in our 7s row. We're looking in the inside for the number 47, closest to without going over. We know that 49 is going to be too much, so it has to be our 42. Putting 42 here. Using our top number here. Our top number is 6, because 6 times 7 is 42. We're subtracting out. We're left with 5. We're dropping this down. We have an 8. So 7 into 58. We know 7 times 7 is 49. So looking again in our 7s row, closest to 58 without going over, would be 56. So that would be an 8. And our 8, remember, comes from our answer row. We're subtracting it out. Left with 2. We're dropping our 9. Again, looking in here to find, oops, I forgot to write my 9, to find the closest to 29 without going over. So our number would be 4. Our number down here would be 28. And our number up here would be 4. We're left with 1. So our answer would be 17,684. You could say remainder 1. Or we can do the fraction route. Remember when we do the fraction route, our answer is our whole number. So we'd still write our 17,684. Our remainder is our numerator. So 1. And our 7 is our denominator. So that's how you would write it in a fraction. I'll show you another way to do some long division. In some of my previous videos that you probably have watched, you have seen me do the cheater method of division. I usually will do the cheater method as kind of a shorthand to myself because mentally I can do some of the math. I usually only do it with 2- and 3-digit numbers. So I'm going to give us a nice 3-digit number, 928, and let's divide by 4. So it's the same problem, our 928 divided by 4. Remember, that goes on the inside, that goes on the outside. But this is how you can do the cheater method. Really, you don't even need to write it like this. You can keep it like this. So if I'm going to do the cheater method, here's what I'm going to do. Let me undo some of my stuff. Oops, redo my 4. So if I'm doing the cheater method, all I'm doing is looking into my multiplication chart. So I'll write the multiplication chart in here. I am looking for my number in the inside of my multiplication chart, and I'm doing the subtracting in my head, and I'm writing the answer here. Remember, this 4 is the row number. On the top is going to be our answers. And the inside is what's on the inside of our division. So here's the cheater method. First, we know that 4 is going to go into 9 because 9 is bigger than 4. Looking on the inside of your chart, you're going to see our number is 8, and it goes in there twice. So we know 8 minus 9 is 1. So I would say we would have a remainder of 1. So you put the 1 in front of the 12. 4 goes into 12 pretty evenly when you look in the inside. So that goes in there 3. We have no remainders. And then 4 goes into 8 twice. No remainders. That would be your answer. Let's do another one with the cheater method. So again, we need to make sure we're looking at the 6 in this row. This is our inside numbers we're looking at, and these are our answer numbers. So we're going to go 6 into 1. It can't, so we have to go 6 into 12. That goes in there evenly without remainders, so there's 2, so we don't write anything in front of the 3. 6 does not go into 3 anytime, so we put it over 0. Now we're going into 34. 6 goes into 34 5 times. We're left with 4. So now we're going 6 into 49. 6 goes into 49 8 times, which is 48. So you have a remainder of 2, or 6 left, which reduces down to 1/3.